never know unless we actually try it.
All right,
See
well,
how people behave.
we are underway here, though, in a Fate Reforged Cons draft. This is the first one we've had on camera. We had a sort of a limited format that's a little more unique. Yesterday it was called Seal Draft, but today this is just regular draft. So this is the first time we get to see a professional player draft this format. Wow, and he's already opened Teamer Sabretooth and maybe even a Yasova. Did you see a Yasova go by too?
I did. So he's in green, is that what we're saying?
And there's also an Avon Surveyor in the pack, which might or might not be my favorite card from the set.
It's good. It's not like competing with the rares good.
No, and I don't think it's competing with Teamer Sabretooth either.
That Sabretooth
which is
might be...
It's a rare quality card at Uncommon.
It's a mythic uncommon.
It is absolutely a mythic uncommon. In fact, he's got it between that and Yasova Dragonclaw as the choices.
Man, the Sabretooth, right?
Probably. Even though it's double green, it's still less of an overall color commitment.
Yasova looks like she's single green, but the hybrid mana to activate
that's where I was going with
without being able to activate the hybrid, I like the Sabretooth pick because it only really commits you to one color.
Not that she's not bad as a 3-mana 4/2 trample, but not as good as a Sabretooth there. So he takes the Sabretooth. This really is one of the best cards in the set.
Certainly. You could definitely make the case for best non-rare.
Yeah, this pack's a lot worse for Matt, though. He's got a Sultai Emissary and a Whisper of the Wilds, I
feel like he just wanted to cement himself in green. He doesn't really get to.
Yeah, Lightform's a nice one, though.
That was what jumped out at me. I mean, I don't think it would be crazy to contemplate the land, but Lightform's probably enough better.
Yeah, Lightform's really, really, really good.
But now here you're in friendly colors, right?
Yes, and that is a little bit of an awkward place to be, taking a double green into a double white, but I think it's early enough in the pack that you just take the best card here. You know, I don't think you need to let your first pick push you so hard in your second pick. Lightform is a fantastic card on its own.
Dragon?
Yeah, Destructor Dragons, kind of a thing. Jeskai Barricade. Oh, there's a Soul Summons. I like just taking Soul Summons here. I think that's I think it's like a very solid little card. It fits with your previous pick.
It's a Grizzly Bear with upside, right?
Yeah, I like Grizzly Bears with upside.
How much is the upside? I mean, that's one of these where we're early enough in the format where I don't know how much upside Manifest has versus
Well,
2/2.
First, take 40% of the time. That's when you get your upside. The other side, you don't.
Yeah, but half of those creatures aren't better than a 2/2.
Right, I wasn't done.
Okay.
You got to let me finish.
Sure. But
I was
working. He clearly
of course he did. It's a good card.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying. I mean, the premium on 2-drops in this format is still a real thing. I think that's part of what's going on as well with that card. It's a solid 2-drop.
There's another one. And I think he's just going to take it too.
Hunt the Weak.
What is that middle card?
Well,
Channel Harm as well, and Hunt the Weak.
Yeah, Channel Harm is amazingly powerful if you get to cast it.
If you get to cast it,
but it's 6 mana, and if your opponent sniffs it out and does nothing and plays around it, then it's a lot worse.
Yeah.
Hunt the Weak is solid. Did you say there's a Soul Summons in here as well? Yeah, Soul Summons as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now you go Soul Summons. All right, Matt Costa thinks the upside is real.
Yeah, it's there.
The upside obviously being that you randomly manifest a creature that you can flip over for more value.
Right.
Blossoming Sands seems good with his deck so far.
Blossoming Sands feels like it might be the pick here.
We are double green, double white.
It looks like he's pulled Mardu Scout to the front as well, which is interesting. It's a good card. I don't think I would take it here, yeah. Definitely like Blossoming Sands. Yeah, me too. Wow. Interesting. So it looks like, he's not putting a big premium on his first pick.
Yeah.
And he's looking to be red-white here.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I'll also say that I talked to Matt yesterday, and,
More Soul Summons.
Yeah. This is actually exactly what he wants to do. Ooh, is that a heel cutter? Oh, yes, it was. That's a nice pickup. Have you played against that one yet, Randy?
No.
You are going to love that card.
Okay.
It is a beating, that thing. 3 mana to dash it in as a 3/2, and when it attacks, a creature can't block. It's just like, they never see it coming.
It's just what the red deck wants.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to take the Soul Summons, but that heel cutter is way better.
Yeah, especially, Soul Summon's number 3. At some point, you have so many of them that they're not doing as good a job for your curve, right?
Yeah, because you're hitting other Soul Summons with your Soul Summons.
And, 2 Soul Summons in your draw is just a lot worse than 1. Only one of them gets to be on curve on turn 2.
Oh, sure. I mean, I just played on curve on turn 4 with my other soul summons,
okay,
but
fair enough.
yeah, I have a plan for that.
Yeah, you're right. It's hard to have too many 2-drops.
But Matt said yesterday when we were playing in the sealed draft that he looked at his sealed pool. He said it wasn't that great, and he didn't let it affect how he picked. And he said he picked a super aggressive all 2-drops red-white deck and just stomped everybody with it.
All right.
Yeah, he said he won all of his game ones or all of his games on the play and enough of his games on the draw to make it worthwhile. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is that this is a 6-person pod, so this is already his second wheel pack here as well. So,
Of course, wine's playable in that
yeah,
deck, right?
totally.
4 power for 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be blocked by anything,
Yes.
but it hits really hard if you get to hit with it.
Yes. And you know that's the kind of card that combos well with cards like Goblin Heel Cutter, where you know they leap back that 1 blocker, and all of a sudden they're taking 7 damage, where they thought that they were going to trade their token or whatever for your 3-drop.
It's been interesting to watch him draft this. He could have had a second Blossoming Sands by now, but
Yeah, he's off it.
and he could be getting Destructor Dragon here. But yeah, his decision to just I like the Smoldering Fruit.
You do?
like that, yeah.
You
Well-
like the 2/2 for 2 with downside?
I think it's better than it looks.
Yeah.
Like just being able to have an on-curve Grizzly Bear. I mean, whatever. Soul Summons is better, obviously.
Right.
But like, it's the kind of card you can pick up and round your curve out with. Like, I'm not embarrassed to have one in my deck, I guess. I'm not happy to have one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes okay in a deck like what Matt's trying to go for here, just a super curve-based aggressive deck.
Yeah, I mean, the thing being, in this deck, the drawback is meaningless.
Yes.
Like, the drawback is almost never going to matter. in a
Once
deck
you
like
start
this.
blocking, you're not doing good anyway. So interestingly, this is, remember, only 1 pack of Fate Reforged here. So once this pack's done, we're going to be into what we've been used to, which is just back-to-back packs of Cons of Tarkir. And so Matt's going to have a very solid idea about how he's going to fill out the rest of this deck.
Yeah, I mean,
going
he's
forward.
got a bunch of good 2-drops, decent card quality. No fixing, but he's only 2 colors.
Right. Picks up an Obzon Rune Mark. A little awkward. I'm not going to be able to activate that thing.
I mean, you got to take something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt is the top seed in this pod. Got this experimental S-seeded pods system, and yeah, he's got the best record.
4-1-1.
At 4-1-1, yeah. Mamoru Nagai is also 4-1-1 in this pod. So this is kind of the wheel from the seedings. The 6th overall and 7th overall are both 4-1-1.
Yeah, his deck is super aggressive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't draft it much more aggressive than this.
No.
And it's also particularly nice in that I feel like the aggro decks in Cons can just run short on 2-drops.
Oh, yeah.
So being able to get 2-drop, 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 what's he got? 3 or 4?
Yeah, he's still got that Efreet, the Smoldering Efreet, too. So.
Yeah, if he needs it. Right.
Yep.
3.5 2-drops coming into Cons, I think is a nice place to be.
Interesting part is that he is 2-color right now. So, you know, here in Cons, you know, it's really a 3-color set. So you're going to see a lot of opportunities for him to branch out into a 3rd color here. Mardu being the most likely for Costa's deck, but he isn't going to want to give up.
Guy, right?
He
He's got
could.
no blue and no black.
He could, yep.
I mean, you suggest Mardu mostly because Ponyback is so perfect for the red-white aggro.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if he can branch out a little bit here. He's
Nothing.
found a Monastery
Monstrous?
Swift Spear and not a whole lot going on here. Oh, there's a Jiren Instigator
Jiren
hiding in the back. All right, that works.
Yep. Kind of exactly what his deck wants.
Yeah, that's perfect. Nothing in this pack except for the perfect card for his deck. So. You can
the
see
best
him.
packs.
Yeah, you can see him pulling up the other cards.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to get back either a Dasher or a Swift Spear, especially the 6-person pod.
It's really interesting that it happens to be a 6-person pod because, now for those of you who don't know, most of the side drafts that happen with professional players and coverage people and, are 6-person pods, and So Matt, you know, he might even have a little bit of an advantage based on that. And there's Leaping Master, and there was another card
There's
at
a
the
War
front.
Shrieker.
Is it War Shrieker, right?
I mean, War Shrieker's a little expensive for his curve, sort of. There's Raider Spoils too, but it would be his first black card.
Yeah, Rush of Battle probably would take precedent over that
here.
here.
Rush. I like War Shrieker.
I think he's going to take the Leaping Master, but I'm kind of on
So
War
many
Shrieker
two-drops?
myself. Yeah.
I mean, look, if he was light on 2-drops, I could see I feel like Leaping Master's a curve pick. I think War Shrieker's more powerful.
Yeah, or even
He's always going to be
Rush of
attacking
Battle.
when he gets to 4 mana, right? I mean, that rate's always on. You just get so far ahead when you're able to go War Shrieker and a guy.
yeah. Yeah, I like that pick a lot. He can pick up a few more Leaping Masters if he needs them. He might even get this one back.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
might.
again, the likelihood that he wheels something is much higher in this little 6-person pod. Oh,
Saddle
geez,
Brute.
Saddle Brute. Let's
Time
see
to
if
move
there's
into
any...
Mardu yet? Is that a dead drop? Summit Prowler?
Yeah, I think
Hate
he's going to
Blade.
take the Prowler and just be disciplined.
Really?
I do think so. But man, it's tempting to
Right.
dip into the Saddle Brute here. He doesn't have any fixing for it right now.
If 4-5 turns out to be better than 4-3.
It does. It is significantly better, but it's just a castability thing. I just
hear you.
don't
And
see why you
Summit
want to do that.
Summit Prowler's solid. Turns on any Ferocious that he might wind up with randomly.
Yeah.
The double red and the cost is a problem in a 3-color deck, but if he manages to stay 2-color, it shouldn't be a big issue. And yeah, he does, like you predicted.
Yeah.
Stay disciplined. Takes the on-color card.
Sad face, though. You know, that Saddle Brute is so good. But yeah, I think that's the right pick for sure. Yeah,
Wow.
not much
Boy, the
for
green
Matt
is here. There's a Savage Punch and an Air of the Wild.
You take a
He's
minute,
just like,
Matt.
Wah! I first picked a green card. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it turns out nobody on your left is green, Matt. You took green out of the first pack and then got past none. So there's no one on your left drafting green. Who's on Matt's right? We figured this out, right? It's Yo Larson. I think
Yeah.
Yo Larson has a sick green deck. Wow.
And getting better by the moment.
Wow. Saltwater Cliffs? It's not like he even has a blue. I mean, Jeskai obviously is what he's thinking.
Yeah.
That land would help him get into Jeskai.
Yeah, he could play a Freak Weapon Master or something like that.
How about Jeskai Ascendancy?
I don't think he wants it. It's a little too cute for the deck that he's trying to draft.
What else is he going to take out of this pack?
The Lurkers.
Canyon Lurkers?
Yeah, I think you just take the
Really?
Lurkers. Yeah, I mean, he's trying to beat down. Lurkers does a pretty good job of that.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, he's going to Valley Dash.
That's a bold pick.
I like that. He wanted, it looks like he's still, really wanting to make sure that he fills out that 2-drop curve, so he's going to take a Valley Dasher here.
Look, the more aggro you are, the more committed you are to this, the better a Valley Dasher gets.
It's true.
Bring low or Barrage?
Yeah, so this is an interesting decision. It's funny too because he has an on 2-color rare, and it's just not even deflecting bombs is like not even consideration.
No. Yeah, I mean Bring Low is sort of it's the removal spell. It's just kind of slowish, right?
It
4
is a
mana.
little slowish. Yeah.
I think I like Bring Low better. I mean Barrage is with this aggro weenie deck, right? The all 2-drops, the ability to just say, okay, this turn no blocking, kill you.
Yeah.
It's just one of the best Barrage of Boulder's decks.
Well, it just doesn't work though, because you need Ferocious to make
That's
that
what the
happen.
Summit Prowler's
so.
for.
Yeah, he's got 1 Ferocious enabler so far. Now, if you pick up some,
Gets a +2/+1 untap all those guys.
yeah, he does. Rashad reminds us that he's got the War Flare as well. So if he gets to 7 mana, he can.
That's also one GP like that.
No, you did not. That was 6 mana.
One more mana.
Oh, Russia Battle came back. That's nice. Not much of a warrior deck, but that'll do a fine impersonation of a Trumpet Blast and maybe even a slightly better one for him there.
I think it's a worse Trumpet Blast.
You think so?
It's an extra mana and sorcery speed.
Yeah. I think in these decks, you don't really care if they know it's coming. You do get
The
toughness.
mana
toughness-
matters, and the toughness can matter.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And he'll probably have a few random warriors. I don't know. It's probably a wash. I think, in a vacuum, he'd prefer
It's
to
close.
have the Trumpet Blast. But all right, a Hate Blade that he can't activate currently.
Yep.
Well, that pack was okay for Matt. You know, he
Yeah, there
picked
was
up
that
some
moment.
things.
That was that moment where he picked up the Savage Punch in the Air of the Wilds. You saw him like put the pack face down on the table, take this deep sigh about the
Put
deck
his
that
hands
could
on
have
his
been.
head. Yeah, it was like, goodness sake.
But that was it, right?
Yeah, yeah, that
And those cards were in the same pack. Like if those had come in sequential packs, where he could have gotten both of them, then okay, then I think he'd really be feeling those pangs of regret.
Right.
The fact that they're in the same pack, though, he couldn't have taken both of them.
Right.
It's more like this is a signal of what's about to come, and then that was it. It dried up after that. So
Right.
no regrets.
Leaping Master did not come back.
True.
So he's going to be aware of that as well. Not that it really changes much from this
Candy
point.
Lurkers came back.
There you go. It doesn't really change much from this point from Matt's perspective anyway, but he can't divert course anyway, but he will note that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it might change a mana curve pick if he gets into pack 3 and he's like, I wonder if this is going to come back.
Yeah.
Sometimes where that'll affect your decision.
There you go. All right, and we've hit the last stretch here of the second pack of the draft for Matt. He's just kind of picking up those last few cards, and you know, I think his deck is going to be solid. Like I think from this point on, like he has a plan. He's going to be able to enact it. He's going to fill in some of the gaps here. Trying to think of what I want to
Long shot
see
squad
if
there.
I'm. Was it really?
Yeah, it was a pretty late long shot squad for sure.
That's literal last pick because that's a land. they left the basics in, so. Wow. Long shot squad's decent.
Look at the smile
look at
on
the
Bill
smile on
Larson.
that guy's face. Jeez.
His green deck is nuts.
Oh, that's too funny. I don't think Costa's smiling for what it's worth. Not that he's unhappy, but
What's Yoel's record? He's 2-3-1, I think. So 5-3-1, he definitely can get to $500 top 16. I don't know if 5-3-1 can top 8. I mean, obviously the line depends on, especially with the experimental pairings. It's experimental pod leading to pairings of people with different records. It makes it a lot harder to project where the line is going to be, right? The line can move either up or down depending on how those pair down matchups actually play out.
right, because you're going to have people playing like deeply down, right?
I mean, it's still Swiss pairs, right? So
Yeah.
the algorithm will take the guy with the best record and pair him against the guy with the next best record.
Okay.
That's usually
Within the pod, though,
Within the
right?
pod, right?
Yeah.
You'll only play inside your pod, and it's still Swiss pairs. It's just you won't have very many people on the same record in the pod.
Right.
So, like for example, we know it'll be Costa versus Mamoru Nagai in the first round because they're the only two people on their record.
Right.
So no randomness required.
All right, so here's pack 3, pick 1 for Costa. And let's see what he gets. He got a Jeering Instigator last time.
Suspension field.
Yeah, that kind of popped up out of the back. Ooh, there's a
Horde
Horde
Chief.
Chief too, though.
Suspension field seems better.
I think you got to take it. I would be bummed to pass the Horde Chief, but he doesn't
light
have
on
much
removal,
removal.
yeah.
Yeah, you just got to take Suspension
And
field.
his deck is at its best if he can play some early drops and then like remove your blocker, attack you, remove your blocker, attack you.
Totally.
Doesn't have very much in the remove your blocker realm right now.
No, he doesn't.
It's like up bring low,
I think.
a Jeering Instigator.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
don't
I
have a
really
suspension
like the
field here.
Suspension field. In a dream world, he gets back to Horde Chief, but I think that the
seems
chances that
unlikely.
happen are quite low. It's also the only other good white card in the pack.
Right. Unless you count Mystic Monastery.
All right, so a nice pickup there for Matt. And Aerostorm.
Aerostorm, Butcher of the Horde?
Was
Is it
that
too
a
late?
Butcher?
Is it too late? What do you think?
He's
Yeah.
also got a War Name Aspirant that
It
he
is
can
a Butcher
take
of the
here.
Horde. The card is absurd.
That card is insane. I just think he has too many. Like I
He has
think
no
either of the
fixing.
other choices are just better for him. Yeah, it's awkward too because I think there's a Bloodfell Caves in that pack. You can't take both.
So do you War Name or Aerostorm?
God, that's a Bellowing Saddle Brute there too.
Well, that's clearly irrelevant.
I'm just saying, like this pack is pretty insane
Goes
for the.
Aerostorm over War Name Aspirant.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. He can cast that card easily in this deck.
Mm-hmm.
It's dual purpose and as a finisher
Yep.
or as getting rid of a blocker.
Yeah, I guess I agree.
It's just hard to argue with that kind of power level.
Yeah, I think I like War Name more Aspirant more than I'm supposed to.
It's good that you're aware. Hey,
Another Aerostorm.
don't even think about it, Matt.
Yeah,
Just
that
take the
seems fine.
Aerostorm.
It's not like his curve's bad. Like that. No, he could take Nomad Outpost and hope to like.
Right.
Too late.
He's thinking about
That
it. but
Butcher's not coming back.
He's not going to take. Yeah, he's just going to take the Aerostorm.
Aerostorm's good in his deck too. I mean, Nomad Outpost is also a. I mean, it fixes his 2 colors that he has. That's why Stenty is actual 0 fixing right now.
Yeah, he's 2 color.
Still nice to have fixing.
Yeah, not nicer than Aerostorm though.
I agree. I'm just saying. I get. You can see him
Yeah.
debating. And
Oh
I
yeah,
get the
he's worried
temptation.
about it. He's worried about it. And you should be. I mean, with so much fixing floating around, he should be able to pick up something. Does he have 1 Windscarred Crag?
I don't think so.
He's 0, huh?
I think he's actual 0.
Yeah.
Wow. Another Aerostorm. Okay.
He doesn't need to attack anymore.
Yeah, you can take 3 in this deck, right?
Yes.
I mean, the 4th one maybe starts to get a little sketchy.
The 3rd one is already a little bit, but I think you
Not in
still
this
take
deck.
it.
Like I
and
think in
then-
this deck, it's.
You think it's just fine? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely taking it. I'm not taking
mean, you would-
Tormenting Voice here.
Right.
That is not what I want to be doing. I mean, look, Tormenting Voice does have its role. It's just weird because it sort of doesn't solve the problem that you want it to. He's going to take it. So the reason why you'd want a Tormenting Voice in a deck like this is because with a low mana curve, your real risk is flooding out. You know, you hit that 6th mana and you can't do anything with it, and every land you draw after that is completely blank. There's a
Windscarred
Crag. But the downside,
Or a Trumpet Blast.
Trumpet
or a Defiant Strike.
wow, I'm curious to see what he takes
Yeah,
here.
I think I Crag.
I don't.
No?
No.
It's
How
not
many
like
formats do we play that are 2 colors with no real fixing in them, and it's fine? Nobody ever.
And you know what? When they have that random cycle of uncommon multi-lands,
Uh-huh.
you want them
Or
in your 2-color deck.
Oh yes, you do want them. I mean, they're nice to have, but I mean, to
It's
me,
Defiant Strike and Trumpet Blast. It's not like there's an actual good card there.
I like Trumpet Blast a lot.
He doesn't make tokens.
I know.
He
I've
doesn't
been watching
actually
too.
go wide.
He's still going wide enough, I think. Like just the 2s. I mean, sometimes you just play 3 2-drops and then hit your Trumpet Blast too.
And sometimes you need to fix your mana.
It's true. So he got a Leaping Master here
Yeah.
for more 2-drops. Now, is this a pack that he opened? I think
Wow,
so.
Mystic Monastery came back.
All right. Well, that fixing problem went away in a hurry. Now he's
Yeah.
got at least 2 dual lands,
Yeah.
so that's nice.
Yeah.
Which means that he can be open to pick up anything else in the later stages. Though I don't know if there's much coming back to him.
Probably not. His deck's fine though.
Yeah, I think his
It's
deck's
not like he
totally
needs-
fine. This 3rd pack was kind to him.
Oh, it was. Yeah. He got what 3 removal spells, 2 fixers,
Yes.
another 2-drop.
Another good 2-drop.
He already had the creatures, so yeah, he wanted fixing and removal, and that's basically what he got.
Yeah.
Mostly he wanted removal. Well, you take Bloodfell Caves. I think this was the Butcher pack.
That
though,
was
so
the Butcher pack, yeah.
Bloodfell Caves is not coming up. I mean, I don't think he would want an Inoc Tracker in his deck or a Dragon Crypt, so.
No.
Take the Bloodfell Caves away from whoever, and so good deck,
Good deck.
not great.
No, I mean it's
But good.
It's narrow, right? Matt knew what strategy he wanted to have, and it presented itself to him. He immediately moved into it. Remember, his first pick was Teamer Sabretooth.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yes, it was.
abandoned that with the quickness. So
And I think that move was really smart.
yeah,
Like
it turned out to be very.
He
good.
got no green in pack 1, and you know what? He got no green in pack 3.
Right.
And that was totally predictable based on what he was seeing in pack 1.
Yeah.
So he first picks arguably the best non-rare in Fate Reforged.
Yes.
Gets out of the color because he read the table correctly. And he got into colors where he did get hooked up.
Yeah.
Right? The red was flowing through, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go red-white here. I like
Yeah.
red-white anyway. I'm not getting past green to go with my first pick.
Yeah, I mean-
and if I'm getting past red in Fate Reforged, I'll probably get it in pack 3. And here's Aerostorm, Aerostorm, Aerostorm.
And I like that he kept it simple as well. Like he first picked Teamer Sabretooth, which is a great card, but then he got past a very good card with that. What is it called? Cloudform?
Lightform.
Lightform, thank you. And he got Lightform next, which is a really, really solid card that doesn't really go well with the Sabretooth as far as mana cost stuff, but he just took it. He's just like, look, this is a good card. And then he kind of just let it come to him. Oh, soul summons, okay, I'll take that. Another soul summons. All right, white looks open. Nobody's taking these soul summons, so I'll just keep doing that. and he was perfectly willing to leave behind his the Sabertooth.
Yeah, I like the way he drafted the seat quite well. I mean, the deck seems good. The draft seems great. I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how he was going to get a better deck out of this seat.
No.
I mean, there was some Mardu, like, maybe
Yeah.
if he had...
That's the difference, is that if he would have
Could
pushed
he have
it...
gotten all the way to Mardu? But, like,
Yeah.
when was he going to get in? When was he going to get the fixing that he needed to support Butcher the Horse?
Right, so as it turned out, he got lucky. I mean, so he could have taken, like, Saddle Brute earlier and then
Yep.
prioritized fixing, but he would have actually gotten there. It's just, he could not have predicted that for the third pack. And, you know, he didn't know that he was going to get
Past Butcher the Horde?
Butcher of the Horde, and he also would have had a Nomad outpost, and the Bloodfell Caves came back too. But like I said, these aren't things that he could have predicted in the seed, and
Right.
I like
the
where he's at a
psychic
lot
play
better.
would have been to be Mardu. Would have been to be 3 colors.
He would have been
splashing
splashing
black so
yeah.
that he could take advantage of a Butcher.
Right.
But that's he
But
would
the,
have had to be
the
psychic
human
to do
play
that.
was what he did, which I think is a much, much safer long-term play.
Agreed.
And I like his deck. You know, this is a difference I think that you see a lot of times when you watch a professional draft is, you know, he's drafted a deck with a very distinct strategy to it.
Yes.
It is going to do almost the same thing every single time he plays. He's going to curve out. He's going to put pressure on you. If you stumble, if you're slow, if you don't have cards that do things to the board state, he is going to punish you. If you can shields up against Costa's deck in a timely fashion, you know, basically getting out of Aerostorm range, he's not going to be able to beat you. Like, you will be able to beat him in that scenario. But he is going to be the one to put pressure on you every game. And that's going to mean, you know, there's going to be times where you keep your kind of sketchy 2-lander and you miss your, you know, third land drop a couple of times, and next thing you know, you're taking 6 or 8 damage and Matt is just kicking you. And the good part about Matt's deck is that he does have reach. I mean, Aerostorm goes a long way.
Did not wind up with a barrage of boulders. Like, there's
Right.
it did not wind up with Act of Treason.
Yeah, no act, because he's got the Jeering Instigator,
Right,
and
yeah,
Barrage
he's
doesn't
sort
do
of got the
anything in
one
his
act of
deck
treason.
anyway. So, yeah, I think he's right where he wants to be as far as that stuff goes. Like you said, he didn't end up going wide. I don't think he has a single token maker in the deck. He didn't get any Sandstep Outcasts, no Mardu Horde Chiefs.
2 Aerostorms. Could have had a third Aerostorm.
Yeah, I kind of
What did he
like the
take-
third one.
What did he take over the third one?
Tormenting Voice.
Tormenting
Voice.
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, like I was saying, like Tormenting Voice does have its spot in a deck like this, but the problem with it is that it doesn't do anything itself, so it's like kind of only a late game play.
And it's a terrible 2-drop.
Right, you just don't play it then. And
Right.
you know, you're always playing a creature. So it's like, it sort of fixes you late, but you don't really want to get late. You'd rather just curve out. So it has this awkward spot in the deck where it does have a role, but it doesn't really suit it correctly.
Right. It has a role in your below average draws.
Right, and it also contributes to your draw being below average itself.
Right. But when you have that below average draw
Yeah.
with Tormenting Voice, it can sometimes kick you back up to above average.
Exactly.
If you discard the extra land
Yeah.
and draw 2 spells.
I think that ideally he just doesn't play it. Like, he just has enough action where he's like, look, my curve's good enough. I have a plan. I don't need to play it.
Which is why I think you and I would have both taken the third Aerostorm.
Right. So are they going to do the picture thing again, Rashad?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It
Well,
might be like
what-
I think that's a list.
yeah, one thing they did last time is they had yesterday I should say, is they had the players lay out their cards like this, and then since it's such a small field, there it
there's a
is.
picture.
Yeah, you see a judge jump in, and he's taking a photo with his cell phone, and this is now Matt's pool registered.
Right.
And
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of registering a deck is just to make sure nobody sneaks in any extra cards, right?
Right.
Well, we've got a photographic record of exactly what he drafted, so
Yep.
it's pretty easy to figure out if somebody sneaks a card in when you can just look at the picture of what they drafted.
Right. Now, when you look at a scale of like a Grand Prix, this system gets a little bit more cumbersome of all the judges running around taking photos. But, you know, for a small field, again, this is what you were talking about earlier, Randy, is that, you know, the staff here are willing to experiment with new ways to
Yep.
make the tournament run a little smoother, a little quicker, that kind of thing. And this is one thing that they've implemented here. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the deck red sheet, by the way, he'll put his main deck on there.
Yeah.
That's took me a sec when I got handed a deck list, my first deck list yesterday under the system. I'm like, what? Oh, this is the main deck. Because it's just like there's only marks in one column.
Yeah, you want both columns, yeah.
There's only marks in one column. How does that work? Oh, I get it.
All right, so I think Matt's just waiting for word from the judge to.
They probably got to take all the pictures
be able
before
to
they start the
build.
clock on deck building.
Right. Yeah, I like his deck. It's just very solid. Like, he just has all the pieces in place. Like you mentioned, he picked up a couple pieces of fixing. There's a Windscarred Crag, and there's that Mystic Monastery as well.
How much top end power is there? It doesn't feel like he
top
got.
end, not much.
You know, he didn't get the bomb rares, but the best card he drafted is going to be in his sideboard. I think he didn't draft anything ever that was better than the Sabretooth. I don't think.
I don't think so either. I mean, in his deck, you know, whatever, you could make some arguments, but no, not really a thing. He does have that one War Flare, which is, you know, a big punch in the right scenario.
Yeah. Instigator's a good punch in the right scenario.
Instigator too. I mean, I think the Arrow Storms are just
right. I was going to go there too.
Outright best card, but again, you know,
which is fine. I mean, like you said, a lot of professional
synergy
drafters,
thing.
you want to make sure that your ability to win games doesn't depend on drawing bombs.
Right.
If you can draft decks that have synergy, decks that have a plan that they're good at implementing, then that's how you win most of your games.
That's right, and you'll see that too. That as you get better and better at drafting, and you take it more and more seriously, you'll start to go down this path where you want your decks to perform as consistently as possible. And when we watch Matt lay out his deck, take a look at how many similarities there are between the type of cards that he's playing. His deck is going to do the same thing, a similar thing, most games that he has, you know, any reasonable amount of mana. And that's something that...
Oh, I didn't know he got one of the dragons. The common dragon that's basically a lava axe.
Yeah, that thing's not very good.
I mean, in his deck, it's the third Arrow Storm. I actually feel better about him not drafting the third Arrow Storm. If he really wants a third...
Really?
Like, you were talking about Arrow Storm as the finisher. It's reach.
But I was also saying that
lava
it kills
axe.
creatures.
I understand Arrow
Like,
Storm's better.
That's what I like about Arrow
Arrow Storm's better. I'm just saying, if he's really wants that third piece of reach, you can play that. It's you've played lava. Yeah, it's in the maybe pile. The
Get
probably
that thing
not
out
pile.
of here. I hate that card. I'd rather
Did you
play
ever play Lava Axe?
Yeah, but that's not even as good as Lava Axe.
It's very similar to Lava Axe.
It's worse.
It shuffles back in,
So
that's slight upside.
is it?
Look, if you're playing the game where your opponent has shields up, stabilized, you just want to draw lots and lots of Lava Axes.
Okay, fair. I don't know. I just don't like when my Lava Axes get like blocked or whatever. Does it have trample? It does, right?
Yeah.
It's got flying
It's got
trample
trample.
haste.
Flying trample haste.
All right, so it flample haste. Thank you, Rashad, for that correction.
How many cards? I mean, you've got a Valley Dasher deck. Like, if you've
That
got a
is
Valley Dasher deck, I think that Dragon is... I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's playable.
Noted. Randy loves the dragon. Lightning
And
Shrieker,
I also
his
love
new
Smoldering
favorite
Efreet,
card.
right?
Yeah. He just pulled it to the side for you too.
I mean, they're similar cards, right? You
He's
do
gonna
what you
make
gotta do.
he's gonna make
I
the Randy Bueller pile.
I enjoy that Smoldering Efreet was printed as an option, right? It's in an interesting place power level wise.
I actually think it's fine too. Yeah. I think people see that downside and just completely discount it. And while it's not a good card, like if you need a 2-drop and you're looking to attack, Smoldering Efreet's fine.
Are we sure it's worse than Valley Dasher?
No, we're not.
Right.
Not at all. I think it's easily on par with Valley Dasher.
It's 24 counting all the maybes. This is probably a 17 land deck, right?
This is.
It's not 18.
It is not.
I don't think it's 16 either.
No.
So he plays 2 of the 3 maybes. Between the Rush, the Dragon, and the Efreet, I think he plays 2.
He's got that Fierce Invocation there too. That's kind of his curve topper.
Yeah. So he goes Efreet, Dragon, but no Rush. Man, the white is so light. The fact that the light form is double white is really annoying to
Hey,
me.
you're right. It is. Wow. He
So
ended up
white.
almost splashing white here.
And by the way, the fact that that's double is why he was so tempted by the fixing. Like, he knows he wants to play that card, but it's double white.
Yeah.
And I knew he needed to play a lot of red. I knew he had double. I knew, Aerostorm, Summon Prowler. I knew he had double red.
Yeah, the Mardu Scout. Yep. That can be dashed for one in a red. But
I mean, you talk about, 2-color decks, man, is easy. Not when it's double-double.
It's true.
I mean, even when it's double single, you're still like, 10-7. You're kind of crossing your fingers about your splash.
It's true.
10-7 is usually healthier than 9-8, but
Yeah, and light form off curve is decent, but man, you really would like to have that thing on turn 3.
Yeah, I think you still play it.
Oh yeah. I've
Okay.
seen players cut cards like that. I don't think that's correct in these spots.
And sometimes you are going to have double, right?
Yeah.
Especially
And like I
with-
said, you can play it a little later and still have upside on light form. I mean, it's still a good card, but
Looks like he's gone rush over the dragon now.
yeah, Rush seems like it represents a lot more damage on average. He's got 16 creatures in this
If
deck.
you count all 3 of the manifest things, yeah. So he only has 13 for manifest purposes, but yeah, there's 16 that I would count. Or wait, Feral Invocation is also manifest, right?
The Fierce Invocation?
Fierce Invocation.
Yeah, that's a manifest.
So
card.
4 of his 16 are manifest. The 12 creatures for manifest purposes.
But for Rush of
16
Battle.
16 for curve and rush of battle purposes. Yeah, deck seems solid. Unspectacular, but I mean the spectacular part is the consistency.
Yeah, totally. Which is, of course, why we bring up like the Mardu Scout and the light form, is that those can put a little bit of a monkey wrench into that consistency. And this deck is relying heavily on it. I mean, it's a huge deal in these decks to be able to curve out. I like it, though.
Yeah. I like it.
What do you think